Alright, we should be live. The mic's a little quiet. Here we go. Alright, we should be good. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Oops, I did not get the chat set up. Give me 1 second to do that. Okay, there you guys are. Then we got the highlighted comments. Alright, I accidentally started the stream. Alright, put out the announcement for the stream really early today. So first, at almost 2.5 hours ago, staying 2007. Don't know, staying still here. But we had a couple of early people, Craig Lilly as well. Giant robots, as always. These people are like 2.5 hours early. Y'all are crazy. Dispatcher Gaming, what up, what up, what up? Manstand, early gang. Is Danny giving away an RTX 5060 Ti? You know I don't do giveaways. You do more giveaways than me, Jason. You have a higher likely chance of giving away something than me. At least online. I give stuff away to people in real life. In terms of internet giveaways, that's not me. Hello, 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 Mervin. Let me silence my phone real quick. Okay, let me get to the more recent chats. When is the RTX 5060 Ti for laptops gonna come out? I have no idea. I don't follow the laptop releases at all, but we barely know. We only know anything about the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte, and we'll talk about that as we get into the stream. But for the 8 gigabyte model as well as the 5060 non-Ti, there's not even that much reliable information out about those. So, what up, KL130? Desired spec, went to Canada Computers, and the prices discouraged me a bit. Lol. For what? The 5060 Ti or for a different graphics card? Evotech, hell yeah, new stream, new cards. Same out of stock pages. Yeah, we'll take a look at the stock. The 5070s have, if you want to get a 5070, you can get one for like around 600, which is a little bit more than the 550 MSRP, but given the state of tariffs and everything like that, that's actually not too bad if you want that card for, you know, within 10% of MSRP. So, what other options do you have brand new if you have a $500 to $600 for a graphics card? Well, I'm a little blue today. Let me see if I can change that. There we go. Late gang, what up, Robert? Fix it. What up, Baden Bailey? Hello, Big Tone. Nerd on a budget, but you give us your knowledge. Yes, that's the only thing I give away, and I don't have much of it to give away because I'm dumb. So, just everything in general, price wise. You said Canada Computers. I guess in terms of, I haven't been following the commentary regarding like Canadian market prices, and how that's all been affected. Intel's a little bit cheaper than before, honestly. Intel, you're talking about processors? Cheaper than before, relative to what generation? You're talking about I feel like the Core Ultra series is not cheaper. And if you're talking about 14th gen, cheaper than what 12th gen was? 13th gen? I don't know, at least in the US, if that was true. And 2Tech, have you found any pre-builds with 5070s? I mean, we can look for them during stream, even though I wonder if there's any pre-builts that released today with 5060 Ti's in them. I didn't do a ton of looking around. I checked Amazon real quick and Newegg. Amazon graphics cards situation sucks. I don't know what it is about this generation, and even a little bit of last generation too. It just feels like with each passing year or hardware generation, there's less and less to buy on Amazon in or I'll say in the U.S. I can't say North America if that includes Canada because I'm not looking at Canadian Amazon. But the U.S. Amazon graphics cards availability just sucks. Aside from like the 7800 XT, 7700 XT, 7600 XT, and like 4060s, those were pretty rarely available. But everything else, and then anything new that comes out is not like found at all on Amazon. Was LAN party this past weekend? LAN was this past weekend. Let me see. Oh, actually, I will wait until about 10 minutes until I announce for this stream. But I can show the picture of LAN if I have it. I need to LAN party. Blah, 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 blah. Where is those pictures at? Spring 2025. I'll just drop all these three on here. But yeah, so LAN was this past weekend. We were down in the basement again. This is everybody that was there. And we took a goofy picture, and then I don't know what. I need to get these edited because there's some harsh shadows on some people's faces. But yeah, it was a very chill LAN. I would say one of the least amount of gaming that we've done in recent LANs. But that's okay, or at least amount of group gaming. A lot of people were doing their own individual things, and we only played a few games together. But it was still fun and chill all around. Like I said in the previous stream, to me, these days, LANs are just like a long weekend hangout session. And if we game, we game. So we actually played the most of Grand Theft Auto because they had that new release enhanced edition or the free upgrade. So we played that the most, and we found some new game modes that were pretty fun. But that makes me more stoked for GTA 6, even though it's not going to come to PC for, you know, a year plus. So that makes me sad. But I think I'm going to start playing more GTA 5 from here on out. I haven't played it for a while, but there's so much that's been added to the game since I've played seriously online. So I think I'm going to hop back in more. MSI's website still has the 5060 Ti for sale. We will bring that up. 5060 Ti. We're going to look at the performance based on multiple reviewers, but MSI store. Okay. Prime, yes, you're right. Prime Day, there were pretty decent deals, but it's so weird that outside of that, what happened to the cards? Like, why did it shift to like all third-party sellers? Minis Forum have a couple of pre-builts with RTX 4070 i9 14900. Pretty good specs. Minis Forum, isn't that the tiny PCs? Or do they have full pre-builds as well? Talking about Minis Forum, this is what I'm thinking of, but you're saying with the 4070 and i9s? Oh, you're talking about like these things? Have pretty good specs. Dude, at this size, I just imagine this being super expensive. These do look pretty sleek though, my goodness. But dedicated GPU. I want to see how they fit that inside of here. This looks like, I mean, just look at these photos. I'm imagining mobile. The i9 is mobile, but in terms of the dedicated GPU, 4070, I'm not really seeing it. So yeah, pretty sure those are laptop cards though, so not a real 4070. Was there a different designation for the mobile versus not? Let me see if they mention that anywhere specifically. Of course, I can't control find because this is video cards and they don't actually have text, or at least highlightable selectable text. So you mean a 4060 LMAO? Yeah. Also, I just do they have the price on any of these articles? Here you go, Tech Power Up. 4070 feature. I mean, all the even Tech Power Up is just calling it a 4070, not saying it's a mobile version or anything. Where's the price? No price here. What up, Chris? Please save me from work. Every single time. We all need to be saved from work. Hope all is well. Hello all. Hope you are all well. Are you in the car driving home now, Chris? Seriously, did you think that any cards would be available? Stock, such as it is always super low with NVIDIA. Yeah, I mean... Well, someone said that it was available on MSI. Oh, we are past 10 minutes. All right, let's get this stream started. So, first announcement for the stream. This is the first ever... Is this the first ever? I believe it is. First ever sponsored stream. This stream is powered by Obsbot. And particularly in this case, because I used one of their gimbal webcams, it's the Tiny 2 Lite. So for both of these, we're going to be running the banners the entire stream. But just to show you guys, and if you guys saw the video this past weekend, Obsbot is a awesome company. I just did a pre-roll for them, but I also worked out a deal to basically run their banners on the stream. We're going to test this out to see how it is. Not test this out, but test the whole sponsored thing with the banner up top, running the entire stream. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to them for powering this stream, because for the last, how many months now have I been on the Tiny 2 Lite? I feel like it's been like 5 months or so that I've been using this. So every single Wednesday, you guys are here every single week. We are being powered by them, and they are now going to pay me to shout them out. And in the description, if you guys are interested at all in checking out this, because it does have some cool features, such as the tracking, which is useful for if you want to, move around and such. I don't do a ton of moving around, but it is useful to have different locked positions. But yeah, so that's the intro. Shout out to them, and I'll do a outro as well. But in the description, if you're interested, there's links down below to their products and their website. But yeah, let's get on with the rest of the stream. You work till 6:30, Chris? What time do you get in? Where are you? 410s? I forget. I have a bid on two 1080 Ti's with the NVIDIA NVLink. Wait. You mean like on eBay? You're trying to buy two of them and like SLI them? I love Obsbot Meet 2. I haven't used the Meet 2, but the video quality is very similar to this one. It's just you don't get that gimbal aspect of it. Nope, is there a reason for Newegg to put 9070 and 9070 XTs behind combos instead of selling them when they have stock? Keep seeing other sellers sell 9070 XTs for over 1,000 plus. Techie Tech, thanks for the $2 super chat. I will get to you in a second. Yeah, the reason they put the cards behind bundles, well, there's the I think, obvious explanation is because it's to help combat scalpers, right? Scalpers cannot really make money if they try to buy these very like kind of rare low supply graphics cards. If they have to buy the card with like a $300, $400, $500, $600 monitor or something like that, with the power supply bundles I've seen, you could probably still make money because you could use the power supply or sell them for a close to equal value. But when they're bundled with like really expensive monitors, if you return, you can't just like buy the bundle then return part of it. If you return it, you have to return everything. So they bundle it so that other gamers, I guess, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with this. I'm just explaining the thought process behind it. But if they bundle the graphics cards with, say, things like cases, CPUs, power supplies, monitors, people who are looking to build computers and also get other things in their setup, they can buy it and get decent value for them. And to prevent scalpers. But a lot of people are very angry at Newegg for doing these combos because they don't there's a lot of gamers out there who just want the graphics card. They aren't necessarily scalpers. So a lot of people are thinking that Newegg, and they're kind of accusing Newegg of doing the combos to move inventory that just kind of flat out sucks or are mediocre or aren't exciting. So they think Newegg is doing it so that they can move their inventory that they haven't like been able to sell, which I don't know, man. Only Newegg knows, and like God knows, right? Like we don't actually know. I feel like people, when they are frustrated with things, they come up with the worst case scenario and vilify. I guess I'm not saying don't vilify companies, but in this case, Newegg could really just be trying to combat scalpers, right? The banner is this is obnoxiously large. Wait up. This does have gestures. I don't turn the gestures on because I don't want it to accidentally do stuff. But you can do gestures to like do zooming and to like autofocus. But I keep the gestures off. It does have gesture capability though. I showed it in the pre-roll in the most recent video. The Tail 2 is a whole lot of camera, I'll say that much. Yeah, so much that it's actually a little intimidating. Most content creators don't touch SDI. Great looking quality though. Yeah, I've actually been hit up, not by Obsbot, but by another third-party agency working with Obsbot to see if I want to promote the Tail 2. And I'm like, dude, that thing is so expensive. But having one just for the camera quality and not even all the other features would be nice. But it's expensive. It's $1,200 webcam. Pretty crazy. Has anyone ever bought the 9700 XT? Or no, 9700X Micro Center bundle? Can't speak on that, Techie Tech, but if anyone else has, feel free to chime in. Buy AMD new, do not buy Nvidia. Dispatcher Gaming, buy AMD new. Are you in the US at all? Do you know what the situation looks like trying to buy a brand new AMD graphics card? It's not good. When does AMD release their competition for the 5060? Let me bring that up. RX 9060. We can talk about that later, but honestly, off the top of my head, I don't know much about the 9060 and the 9060 XT. Kenny D! For some reason, I missed your comment, but I saw this one. What did Kenny D ask? Kenny D, I'm not even seeing your comment up here. Oh, what's crazy about the RTX 5060 Ti GPU launch is that they are at MSRP in the UK and in stock, which is insane. If that's the case, We're gonna get into it in about 5 minutes here. I'm still going through the comments and letting people come to the stream, and we're just doing, small tech talk. But the 5060 Ti is definitely more well received than the 4060 Ti was when that launched, and I'm very curious to hear everyone's thoughts on it more once we start looking at the results. But I have a feeling that people are going to dislike and hate the 5060 Ti more than justified. And I'll explain why. But we got to assume MSRP here, right? If you've been following tech like news at all, watching, the bigger channels like Linus Tech Tips, Gamers Nexus, Hardware Unboxed, the whole tariff situation is actually very serious, and it's not looking good. I don't know. I forget who in the chat thought the tariffs weren't going to be a big deal and weren't going to impact PC hardware and stuff like that. But just based on all the stuff that's being released from all the larger channels who do have contacts in the industry, it's not looking good. So, but if we assume MSRP, which like you just said, Kenny D, in the UK, they're available at MSRP, is not the worst purchase in the world considering there's no better options. Did Trump, what was the last time it was increased by last week's stream? 121% or something like that. But I don't know if it matters what Trump does on the day-to-day basis, but in the long run, it feels like the tariffs are actually going to be here to stay for PC hardware anyways. 5060 Ti doesn't beat the 4070. Well, here's the thing, Jay Gordon. Let me know where you can get a 4070 for $450 or less. See, the issue isn't that the 5060 Ti can or cannot beat certain things. The issue is, for that same amount of money, what other cards are you going to get brand new? Obviously, you can look in the used market and find some lucky deal and some guy pulling it out of his ass and selling it to you for $0. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about for the broad market, right? Average prices. You can't just assume everyone's going to go find a lucky used deal. That's why new parts and availability and MSRP are kind of important. But we'll talk about the performance and why I don't think it's that bad at all. And it's actually a pretty good alternative compared to anything else you can get. But we need to look at the numbers before I can, give my case on that. 50 series drivers suck. Do we have 50 series users in here? Anybody actually in the chat that uses any of the new 50 series cards, whether it be 5090 all the way down to the 50, I guess now 5060 Ti, but nobody has those in their hands yet, right? It goes down to the 5070. PCs are exempt? I don't know. If PCs are exempt, then why did Gamers Nexus just go talk to iBuyPower, CyberPower PC, Corsair, and everybody, and they are saying kind of the opposite of that? So until we're just going to have to let it ride out, but I'm not that optimistic about PCs being exempt. Jason, actually, yes. Jason Whitmer is on the 5090 and says, haven't seen any issues. All new card driver sucks. See, so there's someone in the chat who actually has the card and has been using it to game. And then a bunch of you guys who have probably read something about the driver sucking that has probably been magnified and clickbaited to hell. And now you guys are saying the drivers suck based on not actual experience. So who else has 50 series cards? No, it's good. I got a 5070 Ti. So we got Sam Z also with the 50 series card that says it's solid, no driver issues. So you see what's happening here? There's people who actually own the cards who have no issues with it. And then I'm not saying there's no problems, right? If you go to the internet, you can find problems with anything. You want me to right now find problems with the 90 series, 9070 XT driver problem, Reddit, and then right here, this is 13 days ago. Unexplained stutters, drivers, black screens. So when people go and make blanketed generalized statements that something sucks, I'm not sure if I actually believe it. There's problems that, you know, across any product out there if you want to look for it on the internet. But who else has 50? Fine for me, says Toucan. It's bad, doesn't work well with DSC disabled. Let me see what else people say. No errors, no flaming cables, no missing ROPs. It's just been fine. Yeah, so that's the thing. People are looking for reasons to hate on NVIDIA, which there are plenty of reasons to hate on them, right? But I don't know if I believe about the driver issues and things like that. My local Micro Center didn't sell a single 5060 Ti. Were they even available in person? Let me see Micro Center real quick. Should I just sell my 7900 XT and get a 5060 Ti? Just kidding. Of course not. You should. All right. Where's the 5060 Ti posts? Do you believe regular people bought a 5060 Ti card somewhere? Newegg never received them yet. Best Buy, Walmart, etc. None of them had the cards. Launch day. Let me see. Well, let's take a look. Only showing 18 in stock online. So they were available. Let me look at the new stuff or hot. That what, one post on 5060 Ti's? $5060 Ti availability. Reviews aren't out yet, so make sure you don't waste your time. Blah blah blah. Yeah. So, did any Micro Centers get them? $4070 Ti Super here, no issues. Well, no, we're people aren't saying that the 40 series sucks, Reluctant Hero. They're saying the other ones did. What up, Logan? Welcome to the stream. The drivers were black, screening my 4080 Super. Yeah, my 5070 Ti is running nicely. So yeah, with regards to the 50 series sucking, I'm not sure if I believe that at all. I know Gamers Nexus and stuff makes videos on them, but they're playing the game, if you know what I'm saying. 900 series here, support was dropped. Dropped support. Honestly, I found that it doesn't mean much, Chris. And you probably know this too. Drop support does not mean your graphics card will all of a sudden won't be able to play new games or anything like that. I've played new games on much older graphics cards than that. It's fine. Okay. Yonker still has a few others on the block foot, so there are some Micro Centers that did get it. I don't know, like, I guess let's take a look at the numbers and then get everyone's receptions, right? So 5060 Ti, 16 gigabytes was the only card that embargo lifted for. NVIDIA, as well as board partners, did not send out any 8 gigabyte models to. It seems. Actually, I didn't even look for this yet. Let's do that now, live on stream. 8 gigabyte. Is there a single person out there that got the 8 gigabyte model? Just by looking from this, I don't think so. 16 gigs. See, none of these guys are saying it. I know the 16 gigs you can see from the box. Somebody, Red Gaming Tech says NVIDIA nailed it. So no 8 gigabytes. We're only looking at 16 gigabytes today, which comes in at MSRP of $429 or $430. So let's take a look at the numbers and why I don't think it's as bad as people are thinking it is. I've seen a lot of chatter saying all the new NVIDIA drivers since the release of 5000 series are terrible, but I have no issues with the drivers. on your. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I read the comments on that Red Gaming one, which is probably one of the only positively reviewed 4060 Ti's, and then this one from the Toasty Bros. Oops, is pretty seems pretty neutral. But let me go back to it. This is what happens if you try to be objective. Where is it? Okay, Red Gaming Tech. Probably the only positive thumbnail and title I've seen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What the heck? Here we go. Okay, let's look at the comments. WTF, did they nail it? It's 15% faster than the 4060 Ti and uses 15% more power 2 years after the card was released. The things you have to do to save for free GPU. Hey, Paul. WTF are you talking about? Because this card is total crap, an expensive repackage of a 4060 Ti 16GB, plus they banned reviews of 8GB card. Read the room, Paul, and NVIDIA nailed what? Okay, yeah, so everybody's hating on her. Let's see if we can look at these numbers and see if that's justified or not. So we'll go first with the hardware unbox
books, but I never
review, because they have nice summary charts. And I'm not saying this card is a good card. I'm helping hardware unbox here, watching the ads, or at least watching parts of the ads so they get some rev. I'm not ad blocking, but all right. So let's look at 1440p raster average. Let's look at these charts. 5060 Ti 16GB beats the 7700 XT, which I don't know about y'all, but people were proudly buying 7700 XTs for $450-ish up till last week. If you go on like the Radeon, AMD, PC Master Race, Micro Center subreddits, you'll see that because there's really no good cards in like the $400 to $500, $600 range, people have still been buying up to 7800 XTs and the 7700 XTs, like up till almost probably these cards releases, right? I'm just stating the facts here. If you have $450 brand new, what are you gonna buy? And I'll wait for you guys to answer, because before today, it was the 7700 XT. And no one had an issue with that. No one was screaming, their lungs out at the mountaintops saying, oh my god, 7700 XT is a crappy card. Everyone actually praises the 7700 XT as they do the 7800 XT. But those cards are, $450 to $500. Actually, the 7800 XT more recently have been going for closer to $550. They're not going for their MSRP, and they haven't been for a while. So just based on 1440p raster, right? 16 game average from a reputable reviewer. 5060 Ti, if it's at the MSRP of $430, how are people calling this a garbage card again? When the 7700 XT for that same price is not a garbage card? I understand the stagnation, right? 7700 XT, it was a card that was released almost 2 years ago. You should expect for the same price to get better gains and stuff. Well, that's not the world we live in right now, because a card that was 2 years ago that was going for actual MSRP has not reduced in price. That's what they go for now. And let me actually take a look at that. So we go on Amazon, which is freaking crappy for graphics cards. 7700 XT. And let's see, $529, $500, $500. Oh, here's one for $434. Is this real? This is by Sapphire, UK. Okay, that's from Amazon UK. Oh, so in the UK you can get these for MSRP, which isn't, by most people's standards, isn't great, given that the card is this old. How is this? It used to be in the past where when a card gets almost 2 years old, it would be like, this should be like $350 or something, right? Let's look at Newegg. I'm just trying to paint the picture here, right? of you can't call the 46 or 5060 Ti garbage when people are buying. I would, if I had $450 to spend and I had a choice between a 5060 Ti and a 7700 XT, I'm buying the Nvidia card because not only is the performance slightly better, you get all the other cool crap that Nvidia throws in there for streamers and stuff like that. But give me a second. I don't know how much Micro Center are selling these for though. Lowest price, 7700 XT. On Newegg, the cheapest one is $430. So the 5600 or the 5060 XT, I don't think it's crazy good value, but I don't think it's bad value based on the numbers we are seeing on this chart. People just want to be mad. Seems like a good card and good price with 16 gigabytes of VRAM. Well, so even the funny thing is, I would say Hardware Unboxed is a very critical channel of Nvidia. They have been critical with Nvidia up till now across the entire stack of 50 series cards. And even with all the late 40 series cards, they've been very critical. For them to call something not great but not terrible, so it's pretty lukewarm, right? It's just mediocre. But all the other people, like all the viewers and their fans and stuff, saying it's straight garbage, trash tier, to me that makes no sense. You're talking about the people who actually do the testing, the professionals who have all these cards and have tested and looked at the numbers and understand the value proposition and are telling you about it, when they're calling it not terrible, but people watch this and then they're saying it's way worse than it is. I don't understand that. Honestly, if I had the money and it was available, why would they added the 12 VH power? Yeah, I don't understand that, adding the new standard of power connector when it can deal with the standard 6 and 8 pin PCIe. The people who are buying the 5060 Ti are likely not the ones who have super expensive brand new power supplies that have the new cable already. They're likely the ones who have older systems who are looking to upgrade, so their power supplies probably just have the standard PCIe connector. So to me, I get that comment. That doesn't make sense at all. But yeah. HD77 says 5060 Ti is garbage compared to the base 97. I swear, HDZ77, are you trolling? At the same price. The 9070 is not $430. It is not even close to $430. You cannot find one for anywhere under $600 right now. Internet bozos nowadays stuck in if it's not good, it's trash mentality is ruining the community. They are. Honestly, if you're one of those people, you suck. I have known Hardware Unboxed to be one of Nvidia's best dick riders. Okay, I'm not taking anything you say seriously, HDZ, anymore. Let's see. 7800. Okay, so what I'm saying is, and I'm sorry, I am basing this off of the US market because that's where the majority of my viewers and that's where I'm located. If you're outside, you said for only $20 more? Magnus Nielsen. So you're saying your 7800 XTs are $450 where you are, because that's not the case here. The US market, which used to be the like amazing for PC hardware, it's slowly, I guess, leveling out with the rest of the world because it's 650 shipped from China here for the Yeston model. This one's shipped from Hong Kong. I don't know if we can even find... Where's the one shipped from the US here? Like, all these cards shipped from Hong Kong. Shipped from China. Like, I don't know if there's any available in the US anymore. And at reasonable prices. But let's not just go off of hardware unboxed. Not that one. Let's go to Tech Power Up. In Tech Power Up, it's relative performance chart. They have it behind the 4070, which I understand people are kind of upset. Like, oh, this 5060 Ti is only a half. The 60 Ti is only a half step behind a 70 card. It couldn't even beat out last gen's card. It's 6% slower according to these charts. What I'm saying is, please tell me where you can find a $430 RTX 4070. You guys aren't understanding that graphics cards they're not losing value like they used to in prior generations. Of course, if anybody can buy the 4070 for the same price as the 5060 Ti, they would. But have you looked at the used prices of 4070s? I'm going to tell you right now, they're not under $500. Not even close. In the US. AMD for the win. Y'all are like sucking AMD off so hard sometimes. And I'm just like, again, if you're outside of the US, it's fine. But in the US, AMD isn't a viable option if you have under $500 at the moment. What did Wendell say about it? You said Wendell, see the level 1 text review. Wendell was fair about it. Let me see. Wendell level 1. 5060 Ti. Or at least let's see if he clickbaited. What the heck is this? Level 1. Come on. Am I spelling level 1 wrong? Is it L? Wow. You would think that when I... Let me hide the banner. You would think that when I straight up type in level 1 tech, I didn't put the S in, but Google's, Google's smart enough, right? Google's smart enough for that. How is it that Wendell's video isn't the top thing that comes up? Why is it that I have to scroll all the way down here? Reviewing and rambling about DLSS. Okay. Let's look at the comments of this one. Those are crashes. They are the new feature. See, the issue about YouTube comments and even Reddit nowadays is that comments, people just want to be funny in comments now instead of leaving like actual, helpful either feedback, criticism, or thoughts. Like, everyone wants to be a jokester. This is a normal comment, but yeah, like, I've kind of hated how the internet has moved towards that. Whether it be on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, anything. Like, you're just flooded with people trying to make jokes. Everyone is a comedian, exactly, except they're not really funny. Like, and they get all the upvotes and then they push the actual stuff that, you care about and actual thought-provoking discussion and conversation down further. Gotta get the updates, exactly. The red shirt tells us all we need to blink twice if you want to send help. Give me a second. Bro, I don't care about either company. Just which GPU offers me the best value for money. Yeah. And that's why I don't get the fanboyism. Does he... Oh, man. We're not going to watch this because I'm going to get copyright claimed. But let's look at the conclusion.
We're talking about modern gaming and moving into more AAA titles. But at the same time, it's like, do I recommend a 5070 over this or competing products or something like that? And it really just comes down to price. Like, what price is it actually in the market versus everything else? How much?
This is what pretty much every reviewer... I've only seen like 3 reviews so far because there's way too many. but like everyone's end of review basically said it all depends on how much you could actually get this thing for, because nobody believes the $438 MSRP.
Of that is tariff, how much of that is opportunistic pricing, how much of that is everything else. Whether or not this is a card that makes sense in the market almost entirely comes down to price. There's not anything here that is a definite showstopper in terms of like, oh, well, you didn't get this, you should just, you know, skip on that this generation. If you're on a 2,000 or 3,000 series GPU, you're probably looking to upgrade. If you've got an even more ancient GPU, you're probably looking for what's available to upgrade. So, could be an option. If you look at my benchmarks for the Intel B580, the B580
could be an option. I see. Can you guys tell when? And Wendell, I would say, is a very well liked and very respected person. But it even seems like he's trying to tiptoe around a recommendation because he knows that even someone like himself, if he made any type of like clear recommendation for this card, they're gonna roast him in the comments. They're gonna skewer him. Like, viewers have gotten to the point where reviewers are now afraid to make a true recommendation on hardware because everything just almost has to suck. Like, we can kind of even see if you actually watch the hardware unboxed one, it seems like Steve is almost kind of doing that too. It's like in an alternate reality or universe, he would have given this a slight nudge in the recommendation category, but because it's not, he has to be very careful with his words and call it not great, not terrible. But it doesn't help that the tariffs are screwing everything up too, right? Because nobody really does know how much these are going to land at. You guys are talking about prices. Reluctant Hero says, I love AMD, but they're screwing up too. Newegg US is asking 200 USD above 9070 XT MSRP, and that's if the card isn't forced into bundles. Okay, so let's take a look at... They are all afraid, I get that. I mean, if you guys can't tell, I will tell you, because I've been watching reviews for a long time, and I even do reviews, and even I have to be careful with my words. Because even if you make the review as honest as you can and as fair and unbiased as you can, we're just in such a polarizing time now that anything positive right now, I don't think any graphics card coming out can be met with a positive review right now. We're gonna go to MSI store. You guys said that the 5060 Ti were available right now in the MSI store. Oh, okay, 16 gig. So there are two of them available. $10 difference, and you can add to cart right now. Everything else, actually no, this one is also available. The Ventus for 500. Is that the cheapest one? Let me sort by lowest price. Let me just show all items on the screen. Hardware Canucks was pretty positive. Yeah, I saw theirs. They compared like every 60 series card, right? So let's take a look at that real quick. Yeah, they had a very sweet thumbnail. Okay. So we look at there. You're just no, but since theirs was
how to use Audible
since they kind of spun their review, a review for upgraders, people looking to upgrade. Your justification for a lackluster gen-on-gen uplift falls apart real quick when you realize the MSRP of the 1660 Ti was $279. I just upgraded from the 3060 Ti to the 9070 XT. The only sensible upgrade? Bro, how much did this person pay for the 9070 XT? If they're like the rest of the people, I've seen so many people proud of picking up $800, $900 9070 XTs on the Micro Center and PCMR subreddit. The only sensible upgrade is paying $200 to $300 over MSRP on an AMD card. Yes, that totally makes sense. I don't know how much this person paid, but a lot of people are doing that, right? So this person is actually thanking them for a realistic video. Incident anti-consumer to block AIBs. Okay, so that's a thing on NVIDIA. NVIDIA really screwed up these last 2 launches. Once upon a time, you asked people to give a reason not to buy a new GPU. Now we're all asking each other if it's worth buying at all. We have 8 5060 Ti's on my boss main store and no one is buying it. How much are you guys selling it for? And where are you at, Demented? Such pride in overpaying for depreciated assets will always be mind-boggling, yeah. I'm literally looking at my son's computer, which is still rocking 6700K and a 980 Ti. He's getting ready to join me in Helldivers at 1440p on his TV and it runs fine. No, unless your GPU literally breaks, it's not time to upgrade. F the price gouging and shrinkflation, let the market die of this crap is what they have to offer. You can't just let the market die because unless your GPU literally breaks, it's not time to upgrade. Bro, so many people are looking to build a computer for the first time and the market just does not have cards for them. And then the people who are coming from 1060s and 1660s and stuff like that, they have $400, $500 to spend. What are you trying to like recommend them buy? Is the 5060 Ti better than the 4070? According to Tech Power Up, no. According to... Oh man, I have too many windows up. According to Hardware Unbox, no. I also brought up Tom's Hardware because they actually they have some nice charts as well. So if we look at test rasterization performance, right? And I, for the most part, only care about 1440p. This is not a 4K card, so I just ignore all that noise because that's not even something you should consider. But let's see. So they got 2 different cards and 3 reputable reviewers. The 5060 Ti 16GB comes in worse performance than the 12GB 4070, which I mean, even look at the 1% lows, right? This is an instance where this card did not need to be 16GB. It could have been 12. If it was 12 and saved some cost, that probably would have been the better option and people would have been even more happy. The only 5060 Ti at MSRP is from PNY on Newegg. So I'm guessing nobody was able to pick up a 5060 Ti today on launch. There's 8 gig models listed for more than the $370 that they MSRP at. But if we look at the actual look at all these 8GB cards going for the MSRP of the 16GB cards. So you're saying there's a PNY one? Here it is, 16GB. $430, $20 shipping. I want proof of who actually was able to buy one of these cards. My only confusion is why NVIDIA is even considered at that price point. The 7800 XT is the only GPU to consider that price point. Well, it's because it's not available. I just pulled it up for you. They're like $600. Peckish is in Australia. Cheapest 5060 Ti I can find here is $457. That's AUD. Oh no, you said USD. Sorry, I'm freaking blind. No, USD. Yeah. 457 USD. Oof. I mean, I'm not saying how much is a 7700 XT in Australia? Let me try to understand what options you have at that price range. $7800 XT is $476. If that is, and that's available, that's the card to buy. That's just not available in the US. All I see are reviews. Nobody posted they bought one. Hey, I bought one. Well, I don't even see a review for the 8GB card. Yeah, if they're available, then that's the card to get. Honestly, let's see, how far behind? So, according to Tech Power Up, between the 5060 Ti and the 7800 XT, it's 15%. But even in Australia, right? Where you do have both cards at around the mid $400, there's a how many dollar price difference? About a $20 price difference, which is kind of like small compared to a 15% performance difference here. I would still say a 5060 Ti 16GB, which is what this chart shows. It doesn't say it on here, but this is not the 8GB model. There are cases for people, if they want the NVIDIA technology, to get the 5060 Ti. Like the 7800 XT is this amazing, great value, loved card. To come in only 15% slower at $20 less and have, all the things that NVIDIA 50 series cards have, and like for creators and stuff too. CUDA and ray tracing performance being better, I think it levels out a bit. Was the 5060 Ti in the US actually 430 at launch today? Only one model. Let me see any other 16 gig models down here. All these 8 gig models are even more expensive. This makes no sense. Like look at this one, 450. So how high do the 8 gig models come? Actually, the question shouldn't be, did anyone actually buy one of these cards? Did anyone stay up to attempt to buy one of these cards and failed? In the chat. We've got 150 people here. I'm very curious if anybody stayed up for the launch to attempt to buy one and it's just sold out too quickly. Robert Fixit says, I found an 8GB review with benchmark, but it's in Hindi lol. You think it's real though, or is it a fake benchmark? We know those fake benchmark channels. How did you find it? And are you sure they're not just showing a 4060 Ti and just changing the labels on them if they're showing gameplay? Like, can you link it, Robert? I'm very curious to see this Hindi reviewer with the 8GB card. I'm not sure if I believe it, honestly. I can't afford that stuff, bruh. I stretched my budget for a RX 6600 lol. Honestly, RX 6600, I think is still a solid card. I'm looking forward to using them in budget builds coming up soon. Just because they're like pretty reliably between 150 to 180 in my local area, which is, for the performance they give, is pretty phenomenal. You could also get the 5700 XT if you wanted to get a 1 gen behind non-ray tracing card. But either or, I think the 6600 is still a pretty good value. Black Friday is going to be nuts. I'm actually very curious what Black Friday is going to look like this year, given, you know, everything that's going on. Ed Droid with the $5 super chat. I grabbed a 5070 for MSRP at Micro Center today that I don't need, lol. Keep up the content. So wait, you picked it up for $550? Which model? Let's take a look at the charts. And again, if we're looking at the 5070, where are you at? 5070 non-TIs right here. So you're looking at cards you can't get anymore, right? Like you can't get a 3080 Ti brand new anymore. You can't get a 6950 or a 3090, but you got a 5070. You can't get a 4070 Ti brand new anymore, but you can get a 9070, which might not be available or going for around the same price. Look at in this range. There's a reason why people hate the 5070 and 5070 Ti's, but getting one for MSRP, I also don't think is that bad of a buy if you consider the performance relative to any other card that you can't get. And when you get to the first card that you can get, the price just like makes sense. I have an overpriced 5080 in my PC at the moment, yeah. Sold out crappy stocks again? Yep, it is. It's in stream submissions. Okay, let's take a look at that. Stream submissions. Oh! Are they actually holding the card in their hands? Oh, we gotta see. Oh, okay. Actually, I would actually believe this one. I thought you might have found one of those fake benchmarking channels. There it is.
कार्ड्स यहाँ पर लॉन्च होते जा रहे हैं. Finally guys, यहाँ
where's that? What is this? Where they would have said the 8 gigabytes that with that sticker over it? Oh, yep, there it was on the side of the box when he was holding it. This is the only person, at least, that we were able to... How are you even supposed to search for this? Because every time you type in 5060 Ti 8 gigabytes, all the 16 gigabyte reviews come up. Alright, so this is indeed an 8 gigabyte model. We can see it right there. Interesting. But they probably... Okay, so they did side-by-side benchmarks against a 4060 Ti. I wish they would show the frame rate and frame time graphs, because it looks like it's stuttering, honestly. Yeah, what the heck? It might be their capture card, but both these cards look like they're kind of like, you notice them hitching? Or micro stuttering? And this, for 92 FPS? Are they capturing this at like 24 FPS? Why does this look so choppy? Yeah, see, showing FPS and FPS average on YouTube doesn't mean much, because we don't know how much these are stuttering. I would imagine the 1% lows are pretty bad. Okay, so this reviewer, it's kind of awesome to see someone who actually got an 8 gigabyte 5060 Ti in, but there's not enough information from this video and these benchmarks. Oh, I guess if we look at the application benchmarks, like if they run, like, okay. They ran Blender. Was there any... Here's Geekbench. No Firestrike or anything. It's kind of hard to normalize the results versus other cards. Just based on this. I imagine the stuttering isn't that bad. I mean, the VRAM usage for both these cards are not... They're actually, like, pretty low, under 6 gigs. So the 8 gigs seem fine there. For this one, though, they look like they are pretty much at the tipping point, so it could be affected here. Max Tech CA says 5060 Ti currently in stock in Canada, but only the most expensive model at 750 CAD, which equates to 540 USD. Yeah, that for the same price. What else? What is around $500 to 500 to 550? It sounds like the 5060 Ti wouldn't be a good buy in that situation, but I don't know what like a 7700 XT would cost or 7800 XT for you. So yeah, feels like we're regressing. That stutter is bad. I didn't see what. Like I wish they would have listed if it was 1080p or what. Yeah, they didn't list if it was 1440p or 1080p. You're right. It is faster VRAM. But I don't like. Nobody wanted to see. Well, if we look at gen over gen uplift, around 100 FPS average compared to 118, that's 20%. What is this being tested at 4K? No, because it's 8 gigs. But wow, in Forza, VRAM is, or the buffer, yeah, the video memory buffer is all used up. I'm just trying to look at the uplifts. 81 versus 78, that's stagnant right there. From 80 to 96, that's a 20% uplift. What other? In Cyberpunk, let's go to the end of the test and see. But from about 55 to... Come on. Oh, they don't show the whole test? You gotta show the whole test. Because once you get outside, the scene changes. And the test isn't like the same frame rate the whole way through. He didn't even put like the numbers on the screen of what it would have been at the end of the run. You don't have to show the whole run. I don't show the whole run, but I show at the end of the run what the end results are. So yeah, we can't even really determine much from this video because he doesn't even show graphs, which is fine. Like, you shouldn't rely on all your information from one reviewer. The issue is there's no other reviewers that we can find with 8GB cards. How much is the 5090 in America over there? I don't know what the prices of 5090s are here because they're not even available. But I guess let's go to Micro Center, the only place that reliably has it. Or I guess we can look at Newegg too. Like, the 4,000. What's the lowest priced one? Okay, that's not what I want. Graphics cards. I click on graphics cards and they have 5080s. I still see people selling their 5090s at hardware swap for like 3,500 to 3,700, but yeah, that's quote unquote used or quote unquote scalping. If we look at, if you were lucky enough, if it went in stock, do we believe this $2,000 pricing? I don't. Do we believe this $3,000 pricing? I also don't. I think if this $3,000 Asus TUF 5090 came in stock, it would be gone instantly. So I don't know how much I believe that. I don't know if I believe any of these lower ones. Once we get to the $4,000 ones, you could add it to cart. Let me see. So I added it to cart. That works. It's funny. Remember, like a month or two ago, people were paying like $5,000-$6,000 for these cards on eBay, like the sold listings. And now you can just get one straight from Newegg from GH Electronics. So this isn't shipped and sold by Newegg. This is from a third party. Scalped to heck. But I don't know what the tariffs are making the 5090s now. Have they even came back in stock since launch? From official vendors? We can check the Falcodrin, actually. Let's take a look. Falcodrin. Boom. Discord community. If we look at 50 series, 5090. All right, let's see if they've been drops anywhere. Do they put the prices on here? 5090, 20 left in stock from, but you have to buy it with this bundle. Okay, we don't care about that. MSI store still in stock. This is a bundle. Oh, look at this one. 5090. You can add to cart. This one actually doesn't seem that bad because you're getting a motherboard with it. I mean, the motherboard's worth what? What is this? The Z... What is this? A Z890? So you're locked into an Intel? I guess you could just sell it or eat the cost of it because this price is more reasonable than Newegg. So it looks like there has been drops. MSI Zotac store right here. Yes, this one they put the price on it. 2,900. But it's out of stock. But there was a drop. How many they got? Who knows? Here's another Zotac one. This is... Oh, it's the same one, but it was 3,200. Funny, on April 11th, this Zotac 5090 was 3,200, and then it was only 2,900 3 days later, officially from Zotac. Huh, I wonder why that is. At those prices, just go get a pre-built. Well, you know how much our pre-built 5090 is going for. Let's look at Cyber Power. You can get 5090s. You can get a 5090 build with a Core Ultra 9, 64 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte SSD. Really? The WD green? You're gonna have a $5,000 system? Okay. And you're gonna have this, like, Z890, probably PCIe Gen 5. Look, I'm not saying you need a Gen 5 SSD, but, this actually doesn't sound that bad, considering the cards are, like, 3,500 to begin with. $9070XT is the only high-end GPU I recommend because it's almost a 4090 and it's 800 USD-ish. 9070XT isn't high-end, that's mid. I mean, if you consider a 4K capable card like mid-range, then I guess you can define it that way. Like, it's definitely not mid, it's higher than mid. I would say it's entry-level high-end. Like, that's like calling the 5080 a mid-range card. Just because the 5090 exists, like, you don't take one outlier card and then shift the rest of the spectrum. Like, it doesn't work that way. Eliminate the 5090, and now what? Like, right? The 5090, it's exactly what it is. Place every card from this generation, last generation. Like, look at the Tech Power Up listing. Let me bring that up real quick. Not that one. I've got too many tabs up. 5090. Let's take a look at this. The next nearest card is the 4090, and then where is the 9070XT? So it's half the performance of that. You've got these other cards. So if we get rid of this, though, this 55 next to this 66 becomes much closer. Like we click on the 5080 for reference, right? If you call the 5080 a mid-range card, then I don't know. I think you're just trolling or you just don't really understand how to classify things. But the 9070 XT coming in 83% of a 5080, that's not what I would define as a mid-range card. You want to like take all the cards and lay them out, at least all the relevant cards. The 9070 XT does not land in the middle of the whole list. Whether you go mean or median. By your definition, so many cards below it fall into entry level then that just don't. I spent $1,000 my cards high end. Yeah. Is the 7900 XTX still relative? You mean relevant? Yes, it is still a relevant card. I mean, if you look at the charts, it outperforms the 9070 XT by a little bit. But it depends on like which tests and stuff. And we plan for a mid-range GPU and shot a little higher than their aim. If the name was different, you're talking about the 5060 Ti, name not associated with the 60 series, do you think people's opinions would be different? So you're saying if they called it... No. People will be mad. If the 5060 Ti was not named a 60 series, they had to... They can't just change the name. Because even if they called it a 5050, at a $430 price, people are going to be mad. They had to both change... Actually, no. If they changed the price, I think people would have been happy. Keep it a 5060 Ti. Sure, the performance was stagnant, even though it was 15 to 20% compared to the 4060 Ti in 4K, a little bit less in 1440p. But if it came in at like $350, I think people wouldn't have had an issue with it. But $350 compared to... That's an $80 price difference. That's pretty big. Thoughts on the Thermalright Assassin 120 SC refined cooler for low-end budget system? Yeah, I use the 120 like all the single and dual towers. Thermalright is the go-to recommendation for coolers. It is the new Cooler Master Hyper 212 and Hyper 212 Evo. Like, you cannot go wrong really recommending someone go with a Thermalright cooler. If they have a higher end chip, then just recommend like the Peerless Assassin, or what was the other, the dual tower. There's like a slight difference between the two, 1.7, 1.6 heat pipes. Either or could run like almost every CPU in existence. If I pick up a 7900 XTX, would I be better pairing it with the 7800 X3D or 9800 X3D for $100 difference? Honestly, $100 difference, I'm going with the 7800 X3D. You are going to be in almost every situation you can think of will be bottlenecking that 7900 XTX. Even if you got a more powerful graphics card, you bought the GPU, use the GPU, crank those settings up, crank that resolution up. I don't think, I mean, yeah, sure, the 7800 X3D and 9800 X3D are going to have, when you put it in CPU bottleneck situations, there is going to be a difference, but I do not care between 200 versus 230 FPS. Like, I'm saving $100. I don't know what the prices are in Australia, peckish, but in the US, they're like $18, $19. It's not even overkill pairing a Thermalright Oh wait, no, you said the Peerless Assassin. Okay, those are 34-ish bucks here. It's not about being overkill. It's about how low can you crank your fan speeds down so that it runs silent even under full load. I don't think that's overkill. Given, you know, a 5600, let's say a PC build with the Ryzen 5 5600 in it, that's gonna be what, like 700, 800 bucks? Putting a $35 cooler in there is like not unreasonable at all. I think the ID Cooling SE214 RGB is competing with the Thermalright Assassin. I've used the SE214. I just like the fact that... How much are those ones? Let me see. These ones are... Oh! Now the... yeah, it looks like... I don't remember them being $17.99 in the past. I could have sworn I bought mine for like closer to exactly 20 bucks. I wonder if they dropped the price at some point to be more competitive with Thermalright. But I forget. Let me see. How is this one's mounting? I don't know, man. At this point, I've used Thermalright budget coolers so much that I would just stick to Thermalright even if it's a 1 or 2 degree difference, just because I'm so used to the mounting the mounting brackets for the Thermalright coolers. But I mean, these ones are fine too. I've used both the white and black versions of these in budget builds before. Did I say crank? What did I say crank for? I don't think I said crank. So glad I got the 7900 GRE before this generation launched. Yeah, unfortunately, the time to pick it up was like 6 months ago. Dude, 7900 GREs, if we take a look back at Build a PC sales, and we look at 7900 GRE deals, let's see, new. So they have, look, oh my god, what is this? 4 months ago, $480, $480. So those are the Acer Nitro ones. Okay, which other one? They had the Power Color one for $515. You know how many people would kill to pay for these prices right now? To be able to pick up a 7900 GRE for around 500 bucks? Yeah. Unfortunately, people missed out. They were told to wait. 90,000 series were around the corner from AMD. 50 series were around the corner from NVIDIA. Don't pick up, you know, these cards that had such a large price reduction. Yeah, indeed. Rip to all the people who waited. It's a gamble either way, but if you have the money now and you can afford it and you want to use a computer or are going to put it to use, just buy it now. I understand if you're like scraping by and stuff like that and like you don't even have the money for the cards, but if you saved up for it and you're going to be happy with the performance, just get it and enjoy the PC. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting for who knows how long. Even if it doesn't pay off, though, I think it's fine. Bro, alright, here's an exercise for everybody. What was the last thing you can remember that you kind of felt like you overpaid on? Let me try to think myself of that. Like, did you buy something recently because you needed it and, you know, it wasn't necessarily on sale? It might have been overpriced because you picked it up at like a brick and mortar store, but it's like, hey, I need this right now. It's like when the pipes beneath your sink bursts, you're gonna run to Home Depot and get the replacement parts for it. because you need to fix it right now. Even though the best deal might be from AliExpress coming from China that is going to come 2 weeks from now. Like, you just need it now. You're going to pay a little bit over. But I'm trying to think of what was the last thing that I purchased that wasn't necessarily a good deal, or it might be the Tesla. The Tesla, actually, it ended up being a good deal because they stopped selling those and they are only selling the newer ones that are more expensive. But it was a gamble when we bought it because the prices could have gone down more. But we ended up, I think it ended up working out. So that doesn't count as an answer. Can you run your test bench off the Tesla battery? No, I can't. There's no outlet or standard 120 outlet, and I think it wouldn't support like up to like 600, 700, 800 watts even if it was needed. My ex-girlfriend, nobody should waste their money on new 8GB GPU in 2025. Well, if if it was priced correctly, it's not a bad option. Like, if the if the 5060 non-TI 8GB came out at $250, I honestly don't think that's that bad. That would be like go ahead, buy an 8GB card in 2025. Anyone who says otherwise, show me another $250 brand new card that you can get that's better than that. But 250 is fair. I'm not gonna say 200 because that's just like, we know this isn't realistic, right? Like, in no world is Nvidia ever gonna release a 5060 8GB at $200. I don't even know what the margins, if it's even a positive margin, would be. Like, when we demand things from the companies, we kind of need to be realistic about it. We can't just say, give me $0 graphics cards, right? And for the 5060 8GB, I think 250 would be like the price point. Even not knowing the performance, knowing that it's only going to be slightly better than a 4060. That would be my best swag at it until it actually comes out. For 250, it would be fine. If you can get an ARC B580 for MSRP of that price, that would be, yeah. The issue is that the B580 still sucks in terms of availability. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you guys are okay with used cards, go pick them up. Try to get lucky on a deal. We need a GPU near the 4060 for 230-ish USD. I mean, that's what the B570 and B580 are supposed to be. But honestly, Intel has its own problems. Not even just like a supply issue. Like, I feel like Intel, feature-wise, maybe it's because I'm a creator. I care about those things. Like, at least AMD attempted at like a noise suppression, noise cancellation software for people who are doing recording or streaming and stuff like that. Like, when you go for an Intel card, it's just like, yeah, you're just going straight for performance, none of the bells and whistles. At this point, going used is the best option overall. Unfortunately, in terms of getting the best value, that is until you have a problem with your used card and it's an older generation card that's out of warranty, and then now you just spent hundreds of dollars on a paperweight. So, I mean, I'm okay with used parts. A lot of you guys are probably okay with used parts. You know, used parts are only a thing because people bought them brand new, right? Like, I love how people are like, don't buy these cards new, don't buy them new, just get used and stuff like that. Y'all realize all those great deals on used cards that you guys love so much are only there because people at one point in time bought them brand new, used them, and then sold them when they upgraded every cycle and stuff. The used market wouldn't be what it is if people didn't buy new cards. Like, nothing would enter the used market if people weren't dumb with their decisions and upgraded every single, year or every upgrade cycle. So give some respect to the new cards, as bad as value as they are. Somebody needs to buy them at the stupid prices right now so that in 3 years we could look at their used prices and be like, man, this is a good pickup. Yes, used cards, when we're talking about like the 40 series and 50 series in particular, AMD, seems to be more availability, so we're not seeing it there. But NVIDIA, you're talking like 4070s, 4070 Supers, TIs, TI Supers, 4080s, 4090s. And then, yeah, all those cards are going for as much or if not more than MSRP, which is, as the kids say it, diabolical. It is crazy work, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, if you're looking for used cards right now, the 40 series ain't it. You got to go for 30 series or older. Kind of like recently, I picked up a 2080 Ti just because it's old enough now where people are kind of willing to let them go for decent prices. 40 series cards, people think they're still like brand new and that they're worth as much or if not more than they paid for. Grandpa looking at... The fact that NVIDIA stopped production of the 50 series or 40 series for the 50 is just insane. I know, it was insane work, right? Hey, we got Mark in the chat. We got Scatterbolt Mark. RTX 3080 is the move. Yes, I would agree with you there, Mark. Even with 10 gigs of VRAM. Because the card's raw power, even with that amount of VRAM, is still pretty good. What would you pay max for a used 3080, Mark? I was actually trying to set up a pickup for a used 3080 in my local area, but the seller's not responding to me. One easy way to look at that is to go to the tech power up. So we'll go to 5060 Ti, and we'll look at the chart. So a 3080, relative performance wise, is right around a 7800 XT and a 6800 XT, which both those cards were about the same, and a 4070. This might be... Do they have the 12 gigabyte one separated? I don't think they do. 1 second, let me look this up. 3080. But by that metric, you should be willing to pay, I guess used is a different story, like up to 400, because it competes with $450 cards like the 7800 XT. Right? But so Mark is saying 430 to 450. At that point, I would say just go for the new 7800 XT, which, let me look on Amazon real quick. They were in stock, because I would not pay... Oh, wait, no. The 7700 XT, yeah, so those are a lot higher now. I swear, just like a few weeks ago, you could get 7800 XTs for like... Oh, no. Sorry, I'm confusing that with the 7700 XTs. What's the relative performance to the 7700 XT? 83, so 17% difference. And those are going for 450, so... Yeah... To test that website, look at the 6900 XT and 3090. 3090 and the 6950 XTs right here. And 6900 XT. They have the 6950 XT being right next to the 3090. 350 to 370 says Nemus Dark. I mean, I think that's a good price range, but the issue is, let's take a look right here. Let's look at Facebook Marketplace. Let's see what people in Nob's area are selling RTX 3080s for. Okay, sure. This is San Francisco. No. We're gonna go 9087, and we're gonna go 40 miles of me. I think at 450, the 69XT becomes the move. Unless you need NVIDIA's stuff. Okay, let's look at these 3080s in my local area. Here's a Founders Edition for 380, which is surprising because Founders Editions are quite more rare. 500 here for this person, 550 for a TI. Here's the XC3 Ultra for 450. And then a bunch of people trying to sell pre-builts. These are probably like flippers. Here's a 3080 laptop for 750. Actually doesn't sound too bad. But 500. Here's a water-cooled one. I don't know if I would want to deal with the hassle of a water-cooled, even though it is an AIO one. But 400 bucks. 400, 450. So we've got some by Mark standards, some decent deal ones. The one that I was trying to get was way cheaper. But the guy ghosted me, so it might have been fake. RX 7600 was on sale for $222 the other day. Wish you could have picked it up. It was that on Build a PC sales. Let's take a look. Wait, you're talking about the RX, not the CPU. Newest. It did not pop up on Build a PC sales. It looks like. Oh wait, no. You're saying you were talking about in Australia. Okay, never mind. Yeah, not in the US. Yeah. Local here, EVGA 3080, 420 asking. Yeah, so it looks like there's a decent amount going for around 400 in my area, which again, not a bad move considering people were happily buying the 7800 XTs up for like 550, 500-ish just the other week. Is upgrading from the 3080 to the 3090 Ti worth it? Depends how much you're paying. I mean, in terms of performance, 3080 is at 100%, 3090 Ti is 30% faster, which is pretty big. That's like, you're talking about the gen over gen uplifts that people are looking for. But how much? So 30% more, that'd be like 520 bucks. 520 to like maybe 550 depending on what you value the 3080 at. Yeah, depends on how much you can get your that 3090 Ti for. If it's over 600 bucks, FPS per dollar wise, it's not worth it. And I don't know, I would just say wait to see if you can get your hands on 9070 XT eventually. If you have a 3080, I feel like that's a card that can hold you over these crappy times. A 3080 is still so powerful and capable that is a situation I would say wait. Mark says the 5060 Ti 16GB versus 3080 10GB benchmarks from today at 4K were really changing my mind on the are you talking which review were you referring to specifically, Mark? Did I get rid of the hardware unboxed one? Oh no. So here's the we didn't even look at the 4K, but we can look at it now. Bam. 4K. 3080 is right there, beats it by quite a bit. And we go back to the 1440p. 1440p. Here's 4K. From 42 to 50, that's 8. That's almost a 20% difference. But then we look at 1440p, MSRP, it's from 76 to 85, which is closer to a 10% difference. And yeah, exactly, right? It's not just about the VRAM. When, well, yeah, and then you're talking about the memory bus. Do you think this is memory bus issues though? Or do you think this is just card not, like, if there was more cores on the 5060 Ti, would it have performed better and closer to the 3080? Memory bus is 128-bit, but it is GDDR7. So, what was the 3080? 10 gigabyte 3080 tech power. GDDR6X. And what was it? Was it the same thing for the 12 gigabyte one? Yeah, both of those were 6X. I think that the only issue with the 3080 is that the age, right? What year did the 3080 come out again? That was like COVID times, right? End of 2019. Oh wait, no. Oh, no, that's the 12 gigabyte. Go back to the 10 gig. No, 2020. Sorry. Yeah, 2020. You're talking about a approaching 5-year-old card, one that was right in the middle of the second coming of crypto mixed with COVID. You have to get it for a price that makes sense if you're gonna choose it over the 5060 Ti 16 gig. 3080 is the new 1080 Ti. Let's go. But it only has 10 gigabytes of VRAM. For an 80 series card, when they had, what, in the 1080 Ti? I swear. Honestly, if you got a 3080, I would not try to play 4K games on it. I would play 1440p and be happy with it. Unless you need AV1 encoding, 6950 XTs are going for around 500 to 550 on eBay. Just make sure you have at least a 1000 watt PSU. I really don't like how we kind of have to look. I like the used market, but I don't want it to be the only option for people. I'm okay with spending. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this, but if I'm buying a used graphics card and I'm paying like half $1,000, like $500+, right? I'm okay with buying it if it was like 1 or 2 year old used and that's just what the value was. But spending like $500-$600 on like older, like 4 or 5 year old, I start to become more uneasy with it. I'm okay with buying stuff that's like 4, 5, 6 years old if it's like $200-$300 max. But as you go up in price, I'm less okay with buying stuff used that are older, if that makes sense, right? Like I would be perfectly okay with buying a 4090 because it's just last generation for like $1,000 because that's what they go for and it's only a couple years old. But I'm trying to find the equivalent, like I guess the 3090 Ti for how much those go for. The older something gets, the less I'm willing to pay like over a threshold of $500 for. Just got a 9070 XT 16 gig. What are your thoughts about the card? What are my thoughts about one of the most popular, if you can get an MSRP, best value cards on the market right now? I mean, I'm pretty sure my thoughts are what everybody's thoughts are. It depends on what you got the card for. Why didn't you say the price? A 9070 XT is only as good of value as the price you got it for. Yeah, you're right. It is the fact that like 80 and 90 series cards hold their value for longer. Kind of like how the 1080 Ti somehow is still going for like 150, 175 bucks, which is kind of crazy given how old that card is. There's no 4090s used for 1K at the moment. Yeah, those are still going for stupid expensive, like 16, 1700 bucks right now. It sucks, but it is what it is. You got it for 730. Wait, what? You said you got an XT for 730. That seems about what most people are getting it for, and most people are happy with it. Because for the same performance, or around the same performance, you weren't going to get a 4080 for that much. And you weren't going to get a 3090 Ti for that much. You could have gotten a 7900 XT for like... How much were these going for? Like 540 or something 6 months ago? But yeah, I mean, it seems like a pretty standard deal for the price. Uncle Rico says, what's up, Unc? What up, Uncle Rico? The 5070 for $550 is the play. It's been available, it's in stock, but that stock usually goes pretty fast because a lot of people agree with you. But let's take a look at the relative to the 3080. So 3080 comes in at 15% performance difference. What's 85% of 550? If you want the same FPS per dollar value, that would be $467, but it's a used card, so you would want to get the 3080 for closer to like 400 to 425, ideally, for the same FPS per dollar value to the 4070 or 5070, and factoring the fact that it's used and 4 years old, 4.5 years old. Yeah, so, I mean, I was trying to pick up one for under 350 bucks, but there was only one in my area, and the person didn't even respond. So, I don't know if it's an old listing or they sold already. So, yeah. Yeah, 3080, my personal limit, thinking about it, looking at these numbers, I probably wouldn't pay over 400 for it, just given the age. At $400, if the 5060 Ti 16 gigabyte was available for 430, given that it's a little newer, it's a trade-off of FPS per dollar for a newer card with much newer features, right? You're talking about second gen, ray tracing, DLSS, and all that stuff, versus fourth gen. Why are there even non-OC models or OC ones, I guess? Do people really not either OC themselves or leave it how it comes? It's how they are binned. Not, the silicone quality levels is, I guess, when you win the silicone lottery, you could bin and overclock them higher out of the box, people are willing to pay more for it. There are websites that sell binned, what's it called? Like Intel processors. You can buy ones with higher overclocking potential. So the OC models should, in theory, have more headroom to overclock over the non-OC models on top of the factory overclock that they apply on it. But yeah, I mean, that's just the reason why. Honestly, I never cared for it. To me, OC gains are like, sure, they're great, whatever, but I'm trying to get the cheapest card, okay? I sold some kid my 1050 Ti for $50 and bought a RX 590 for $220 8 months before the 2020 shortage. I miss those days. Was the 5090 that much better than the 1050 Ti that you paid more than 4 times for? I don't think. I don't think I've ever used a 59 or a 590, an RX 590 before. I've used so many 570s, 580s, even 560s. I've tried to think if I used 550s before. They're not really in like, they're not, RX 550s are not what you would really want to get if you're focused on gaming. Just get, unless you're doing like a slim tower build, but then still, like, I wouldn't recommend it given the performance levels that of an APU. But yeah, 590s didn't really have much chance to like ever play with one. Back in 2020, I mean, it's a big difference, but I'm trying to think of 4 times the cost difference. You know what I'm saying? What was the hardest game to run in 2020? What was that? Cyberpunk, probably. You know, Cyberpunk does run on like 3 and 4 gigabyte GPUs, right? Yes, that Cyberpunk was 2020. Mm, 1660 Super. Was that 2020? That was end of 2019. See, right before COVID hit, that like 6-month span between 2019 and 2020, to me, it's all just a blur. I think the 1660 Super, honestly, to this, like right now you can buy them, I think in my area I've seen them for like $80, but you can get them for like under $100. They're around the performance of a 1070. Like, these cards are still capable of gaming on a budget. Like, these are the cards you try to find for as cheap as possible. People probably aren't selling these for much cheaper than like $70-$80, if not a little more than that. But these are the things that you put into like a $300 build. You don't give a crap how much VRAM it has. 6 gigs is enough VRAM if you're building a $350 build. And then you just play games at low settings, try to pump that 60 FPS, and you just enjoy it because you don't have much money. You're a broke boy, but at least you're a broke boy that is PC gaming. It's better to be broke and still able to PC game than to be not broke and not be able to PC game, I'd say. I'm gonna close these tabs. My market sucks right now, as you saw. You know what's funny? Now I'm thinking about it because that article came up. You know how there was like deniers of certain things during, the last 6 years? There's a new category of deniers out there. They're the tariff deniers, where in plain sight, in front of your face, with proof, or when there's proof, I think these tariffs are gonna hit, and they're gonna hit hard. But there's gonna be people who are still denying the tariffs and their effects. And we're just gonna call those people tariff deniers. They are in my chat. I know a couple of them. But as we go on into the year, they're gonna be more prominent, I guess. So we'll just see how that goes. What up, Shauner? What up? What up? What up? Jawa, my God, Jawa prices. At least the Jawa official store. Let's go to Jawa real quick. We haven't shown Jawa that much love recently, and it's not for any particular reason. You know, it's just the stream goes in whatever direction it goes, and if you guys bring it up, I'll bring it up. So, yeah, it's just we haven't talked about Jawa that much, but let's look at the Jawa official store because they have. Look at these. We were just talking about how much you should pay for a 3080. Under 400 bucks. Right here. Readily available in stock. But of course you have to pay tax and shipping on it. So it's going to be a little bit more. For me, this will probably be like $20 shipping plus $40 tax. So 460 bucks. So it becomes less of a good value for me. But if you guys have lower taxes and you're closer to where they ship these out of, it's a better deal. But let's look at these other prices on Jawa. I would say though, the official Jawa store is like carrying a lot of these sales on their back because not a lot of other sellers are sticking to the original goal of what Jawa set out to be: non-scalping, gamers selling to gamers, fair prices. A lot of people overprice their stuff on the Jawa official or on Jawa, unfortunately. But the Jawa official store coming in clutch with a lot of these prices. Let's take a look. So they got a lot of 30 series cards, which I can only imagine they're still in stock because people don't want something that's 2 generations old. I like the deals on their cheaper cards are pretty good. Like the A580 for 150. 3060 Ti's for 215. This is a pretty solid deal. And if you're gonna tell me it's not a solid deal, you better tell me an alternative card for 215 that gives better performance than this. And I bet you can't. Except for that one deal in Australia, 222 for the 7600. What else they got? They got A770s for 200 bucks, A750s for 175. Yeah, these are all super fair prices. 2080 Supers for 225. And then their processor deal. Well, let's take a look at these. Like a 6600 XT for 170. People are going to say, buy this 5700 XT. It's like similar performance. And you could probably get it for 150. Like, bro, what if I don't want a card that old? Or what if I'm playing a game that requires at least some remnants of ray tracing? But I think for 170 for 6600 XT isn't that bad at all. 5600 XT for under 100 bucks. Yeah, 85 for a 1660 Super. We were just talking about this. Pretty fair prices. And then, yeah, these prices aren't that bad either. Jawa was the same, but let's take a look at the rest of the GPUs on here. Let's look at what all these other sellers are selling them for. So we got the Jawa official store, which you can tell because of the way the image is laid out. But look at this person. Trying to get $600 for their non-TI 3080. People hate on the RX 6600, but I can run everything and most things. Yeah, 6600s are still solid cards. I don't think people hate on it. I think you might have meant people overlook it. I don't know of anyone who actively hates on like the RX 6600. It has pretty much consistently been a good value card. Can we buy one brand new right now? I don't think so, but let's just look just in case. Oh, you can buy it brand new. I wouldn't buy it for $240, but I would buy it used for 170. Ain't that something? Like, you can still find these 2-generation old cards sold brand new AMD 6000 series cards. Still find them brand new at somewhat reasonable prices. I mean, they're under what they, I think this is under what they MSRP'd and released at, but not much. But at least it's not over their release price, and it's not like ridiculously double the price or something, right? Like, not crazy good value, but the fact that they still exist, because in terms of like the production ramping and stuff like that, I think this is pretty cool to see. Yeah, at some point they were as low as, was it 180 new? It was the lowest that they got. I get the prices mixed up, but you see, well, who's selling this one? This one is sold by ASRock directly. Is this greed? Is this just adjusting the prices because they're unavailable or, you know, out of production? Is this tariffs? Who knows? Yeah, but how long ago was that even? I'm trying to think of when we were seeing, we could check build a PC sales. When were we seeing those RX 6600s for under 200 bucks? Consistently. We're gonna go to sort by new. 4 months ago, they were down. Okay, so that was the end of last year. 7 months ago. Is it because I need to not put a space in here? Build a PC usually catches everything. So here they are. Damn, where are all the deals? What the heck? I'm trying to see if that was an outlier 4 months ago for 170. This doesn't, this looks like not a representative price. Yeah, 7 months ago, 9 months ago, a year. I'm surprised there's not more deals. What is up with Reddit's search engine? I remember. Maybe they were so consistently priced at that, people didn't post them because that was just the normal price at the time. But I remember they were going for consistently 200 bucks or less. I suspect a white tax. That's true. But yeah, looking at other Jawa listings, here's a laptop. Here's a 3080 build for $1,500. Here's a $600 EVGA one. Oh, this one's not too ridiculously priced. I wouldn't pay $475 for it, but it's not as bad as the $600 ones. This person's selling a brand new sealed 3080 Ti for $850. Does anyone value the fact that it's sealed? It's still a 3080 Ti at the end of the day. Why would you buy this? Like, especially a Zotac card, I can understand if it was either a direct NVIDIA Founders Edition card, or if it was a EVGA card. But who's looking to preserve and collect a sealed 3080 Ti from Zotac to hope that one day it's going to be worth a lot of money? Because for the performance, it ain't worth $850 today. So listing it for this much, I would imagine it's the collector angle, but I don't see it. Not with the Zotac card. Was it the 6650 XT brand new for 200? I don't remember it being 200 consistently. That might have been with like a coupon or a rebate. But I thought the 6650 XTs were like 225 to 240. But I guess we can check Camel. The thing about Camel is that it kind of sucks for long history and then specific, like specific SKUs. But let's just take a look at Gigabyte one. Sure, nope, that's a 7600. Seriously, you're not gonna show me? Is it because these aren't available? 6600s. It's not coming up. Maybe I go 6600 non 50 XT. Does it have to have like an active listing on Amazon? Right? Oh, here it is. Here's a fighter card. 1 year. I don't want to look at used. Bro, this is why, I mean, camel. Here we go. Well, this wasn't under 200 like we thought. Here's MSI Gaming one, which should be, let's see. So this was 6 months. Dude, what is Camo doing? What is going on with these charts? Why is only the all showing like actual trends? Oh, what the hell is going on? Oh, I guess because if we go back to... Oh, what? It's because it's out of... That's why, because Camo, you can't put like... I can't select a range. But even then, we don't really see it dipping below 200. At like one point since 2021-ish, end of 2021, it did hit a low of around 200 something, it looks like. But that wasn't, the consistent pricing was closer to like I don't know, 260 or something, yeah. Maybe it was an Amazon resale, it might have been, yeah. Best Buy had XFX ones last summer. Well, we can look at... Camo's not gonna bring it up though, so... They brought this one up. And those aren't the prices we're expecting. That seems like almost a liquidation price too, or a liquidation sale. Like, alright, we're just getting rid of whatever we have left, and that was it. RTX 4060 OC for 353 USD brand new. Is that reasonable? No. That is not reasonable. You can get a 6700 XT used for like 300 bucks on eBay. Or you can get it used in your local area for a little bit less. Most likely. That is over MSRP. What was the 4060's MSRP? 300 bucks. Why are we paying for a last gen card $50 over its MSRP? I wish there was a way to know that you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. True. Peckish says, my chats are the best. What are you saying? I got my Asus Dual RX 6600. Brand new Christmas. Still the same price. 184 USD. That is a good price. But also, your Australian like availability. How many Australians are in the chat? I'm not saying I'm ignoring you because you're Australian. I'm just trying to, first of all, read everybody's chat, and I read plenty of your comments, Peckish. But also, a lot of the availability and pricing doesn't apply to people in the chat. So, the problem with apps like OfferUp, you get people selling them for profit. It's OfferUp, not ComeUp. Let's go back to Jawa and see what people are selling these for. I know the Jawa official store. See? So, the thing with Jawa is, in a very particular like price range of graphics cards, like you saw the 3080s, right? How many cards we found available for sale? You go down to something like a 6600 or 6600 XT in the used market, sub $200 graphics cards. You're not even gonna find those cards. All you find are PC flippers. Let's see if we can find a card. Of all the listings, trying to find an RX 6600, a standalone card. Not a single. Oh wait, this is just a box. But you can find a bunch of builds that use them. Some builds that probably don't even have them, and have them in the description. Like, let me see. Let's look at this one. Oh, this one does have a 6600. As a flipper, I do respect Jawa for components. The problem is that the 13.5% fee being applied to the seller hurts to make a profit. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that hurts about Jawa is when they started out, their fees were like 6%, essentially, which made them competitive compared to any other marketplace out there. The biggest one being eBay, because eBay is basically 13%. But now that they're the same as eBay, if you post something on Jawa, you're posting it to a smaller like set of eyes compared to posting it to eBay. And if they both have the same seller fees, then there's not as much incentive to post to Jawa. So I don't know if they can even bring it down to like 8 to 9%. I don't know. I don't see their books. I don't know how profitable they are. I don't know how on the brink of like them as a company not existing anymore if they don't make a certain amount of money, right? I don't know those things. But 13% is kind of hefty for, you know, like the average person, me and you. Because not only that, we gotta pay taxes on that crap. Look. If you make over a certain amount on Stripe, you have to report it on your year-end taxes, and I guess you can try to take deductions or whatever the heck you want. Or you could sell it locally, pay no seller fees, and pay no taxes because, look, when I sell stuff on OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, I'm doing it for cash or PayPal, Venmo, friends and family. The IRS may or may not see that. I'm not going to say it explicitly, but y'all know where I'm going with it. The government wants their grimy little hands on every little thing they can get, even if it's for a turd that I crap into a jar and sell to someone for $5 through PayPal goods and services. They want a piece of that $5 for that crap I sold. Taxes, tariffs, and 13.5% equals cooked. I agree. They're losing 2.5 as well on credit card fees. Everyone needs to just operate on debit and PayPal. No, there's PayPal fees too. I know. Yeah, I don't know. Danny, don't self-report. I want to know who on here sells things in their used market, takes that cash and says, ooh, let me write this down so I can report it at the end of the year to the IRS that I sold, you know, whatever on OfferUp and Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. Let me just give the IRS this cash in my hands right now from that person-to-person, face-to-face used item transaction that was once paid for with tax, you know, when it was bought brand new. Zelle is the only digital transfer that doesn't take fees or the IRS cares about because it's bank to bank. Yeah, but good luck convincing people to pay with Zelle. I mean, I've paid people with Zelle before. Let me think on OfferUp and Craigslist and stuff like that. Was it only people... Like, I remember one time I paid with Zelle. It was because that person was a viewer and I I actually met up with them to buy something based on a comment they left. But a complete stranger to give my phone number to do a Zelle transaction, I would probably do friends and family or Venmo, which the IRS does not look at the moment anyways. Yeah, for if you have like a business, then you have to. But for like an individual, like not business, had too many people try to scam me over Zelle. How did they try to scam you? Wait, as a seller? Because I'm assuming you as a seller, not a buyer. Because I don't know how you could get scammed as a buyer, but as a seller, because Zelle reversals are one of the things that I still don't believe happen, I don't believe that they happen, and I don't believe that they happen to at a rate that should be concerning, if you know what I'm saying, right? Like, of course, there might have been in the history of ever, like 1 or 2 people who have successfully reversed a Zelle transaction. But I feel like you have a higher chance of you just straight up getting robbed in person, point blank, than to have a Zelle reversal successfully go through. But seller mostly, yeah. How did they try to scam you? Because if you meet up in person, they Zelle you, you see the money go into your bank, and then you hand over the parts. I don't really see a chance of getting scammed that way. But you might be talking about someone saying, like, they want you to ship it out and they'll Zelle you a deposit or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how people can really scam through Zelle. But you're right. You can use Zelle with email, too. I forget about that. Was that a new thing, or have you always been able to use with email? I think with a phone number, I feel like it would be more secure because it is way more easy to spin up a... what's it called? It's way easier to spin up a new email than it is an actual phone number. I don't believe Zelle takes digital phone numbers, like Google Voice and stuff like that. So, like, to get a new number to apply to a Zelle account, I think it's a little bit harder than emails. Of course, you could always just buy, like, some cheap mobile phone plan. But still, Ray's Redemption, they can hear. PS, just got a 9070 non-XT for $750 on Best Buy. Nice, Rays. What are you upgrading from? Oh, you got 9070 XT for $750 from Best Buy. So 100 over 150 over MSRP. But still, for that card, I think plenty of people would be happy for $750. Yeah, it's a shipping thing, not gonna lie. It's been a while since I've gotten one of those. Also, someone called me claiming to be Wells Fargo fraud and wanting me to enter stuff into Zelle to undo a charge. Yeah, that is annoying. Dealing with scammers on selling locally. Alucard Sparta got their recent 5074 MSRP from Best Buy. I can't wait. How did you get that? I'm curious. Because I feel like they're still selling out pretty quickly every time they do drop. So especially to get it for MSRP, right? Like, I'm sure the $650+ cards are, still sitting on the shelves or whatever. And Best Buy too. So I'm assuming you got it online. To get an MSRP 5070 online at Best Buy, how did you get this? Did you have stock trackers? Are you part of any of those websites or Discords? How quickly did you have to click to get it? And enter to buy it. Oh, is Best Buy doing like a raffle thing? You have to enter to buy it? I know about the line. Not really a raffle. Just click and wait in line. Oh, okay, yeah. I waited in those lines trying to get a 5080. Okay, so I know what you're talking about. Let's take a look at Best Buy. Honestly, at MSRP, I don't think the 5070 is a bad card. Anyone who thinks it is, honestly, aren't looking at the numbers because, and aren't considering what is available at that same price. They're gonna be like, oh, get the AMD cards. Bro, I've not seen those at MSRP either. If you can get those, see details. One offer for you. Oh, here's a 5070 for MSRP. Add to cart. Pickup not available. Shipping not available. Why can't... Wait. I'm in line. Oh! We could potentially get one tonight. I'm actually not trying to buy one. I'm trying to buy the Founders Edition one, but... I'm curious. Well, I'm just gonna leave this running just to see if I get chosen, I guess. You think there's a ton of people waiting in line for this right now? There must be, right? It's the internet. For people who don't have micro centers around them, this is the only option. Yeah, let me also log in to a version on my main browser that I won't dox myself on. Oh. Pickup. Yeah, there's none around me, dang. It doesn't even let me... Yeah, it doesn't even let me... It changed, look, it says unavailable nearby. Yeah, based on my stores, shipping not available? What? Okay. Nah, screw that. In Australia, the tax is included in the product price, and we still have cheaper products sometimes. I mean, in the US, when you live in a state like me, it's really easy to calculate the tax because 10%, you just move the decimal once. So 550, that's $55 tax added on top of it. Yeah, it would be nice if tax was included in everything. I don't know what the reason or justification is to not, aside from different states having different taxes, but still, when I go to a website like Best Buy and I put in my information that I'm in Washington State or my city, why not just have the tax included? They do tell you the tax when you check out, obviously, but why not have it front facing? I don't know what the laws are or the reasons for having it like this. Maybe it's for tax exemption, but I would feel like, who cares about businesses and stuff like that? Make it so that it's more convenient for the consumer or the average person, and then the businesses can go subtract the tax off if they're buying it and, you know, doing that kind of stuff. So, greed being the main one. Yeah, I mean, aside from trying to bait people in with the lower price, which is annoying. That 5070 is in Northgate? Let me see. I'm changing it to Northgate. Let's go to Northgate. Northgate. Make this my home. Let's go. Update. And then what? I just go back? Account required. Okay. I'm doing it on my other window. Wait, watery events. Are you in Northgate? Or are you in Washington State, rather? If you told me this before in the past, I may not remember because we do have Northgate. Login. Where's the login? Let me log... No, I am logged in. Yeah. It's not available in Northgate. At least not anymore. Yeah, different cities even have different taxes. So, I mean, I don't know. it should still be able to determine it, because usually when you shop online, you put your zip code in and all that stuff, but they don't do it. Check for other models that are available. I mean, give me a second here. I would only care about the MSRP ones, so. 5060 Ti's. Actually, let me see what my Best Buy account looks like. What do I personally have? I'm using a B580 right now. From Intel. The Intel Arc B580. How is the B580? I mean, if I'm playing anything, given my resolution, I'm playing with FSR enabled. Because, especially AAA games, like Cyberpunk, Assassin's Creed Shadows, things like that. Yeah, I definitely, because I play on an ultra-wide 1440p. That's a lot more pixels than even standard 1440p. So yeah. I'm pretty much playing everything with upscaling, and if I can, with frame generation and stuff like that enabled. Because the card that I have is a $250 card, and the resolution that I have on my monitor is meant for higher, more expensive cards. There's a Gigabyte Snow Eagle 5070 for $270. AliExpress is just filled with so many scams these days. It's getting actually ridiculous. Like, what was I looking for? Oh, I was looking for 7500Fs. Or actually, motherboards are also pretty rampant with this scam. Like this one is probably legit. Very good, very good. Okay, no. So I was trying to find like, oh, let me find some cheap motherboards. You know, like AM5 B650 motherboards on AliExpress. You go here and then you do find some cheap ones from like Jinyu, which honestly, it's kind of annoying how cheap these boards are, but how bad they are. $2 super chat or $5 super chat. I need that upgrade from RTX 2080 to a 9070 XT. Oh yeah, yeah, I guess 2080 Super is getting a little bit old. So for the price you paid, I think you got a good deal, Raze. Don't second guess it. Watery Events, welcome to the Nerd on a Tight Budget. Thanks for joining the membership. Did you answer? You're in Issaquah. Okay, you're not that far away from me. Yeah. Actually, I saw some deals for some used graphics cards in Issaquah, and I was like, man, I ain't trying to drive all the way out there. Like, if I could find a card, I would rather pay like $10 more and get it 10 minutes away than have to drive round trip to Issaquah, which isn't like super far. But if I'm talking about like $150 graphics cards, I'm not trying to make a 25 to 30 minute, each way trip to pick up something like that. It's just not worth the time and effort. So I would do a bigger purchase out there if it was, a good deal in like the hundreds of dollars. But yeah, but going back to these like scams, so I was looking for B650 motherboards, and like for $72 right now, if you want a B650, even the most bare ones on Amazon, you're still looking at like $100. Like, let's look at the most bare B650 motherboard. And we sort by lowest price, and then you start giving me a whole bunch of crap because you're Amazon and you're stupid. Actually, you didn't give me too much crap this time. Cheapest V650 is an Asus Prime for 99 bucks, right? So it's a $28 difference between these two. But you look at the Asus one, look, it actually has USB-C connectivity header. It does not have USB-C in the back, but whatever, that's fine. At least, like, we're in the age now where devices are starting to become USB-C. So everyone has USB-C cables now, for the most part. Data transfer over USB-C is faster than it is USB 3, right? So you want it either in the back or on the board. Ideally both, but these cheap-ass boards usually don't have them. But at least they have something. These super uber budget boards. Yeah, this one has $18 shipping. I think there's a non-shipping one for... I think they work out to be like 80 bucks. Where's the free shipping ones? Let me see. Free shipping starts at 82? Yeah, free shipping. So they're 82 bucks. So it's not even... So it's like $18 cheaper, right? So you're comparing the Amazon board versus this. But if you look at this thing, you've got... let me bring that one back up. I really wanted to pick up one of these boards. Oh, I do have it here. Yeah, look at this one. This one has... Look at how many PCI Express slots it has. There's 4 of them. This one has 1. I guess it has 2 if you count the smaller one down here. But this one has 4 times 16 slots. And M.2 slots, this one has only 1, which, okay, this one has 1 as well. But, like, look at the connectivity in the back and then on the front of the board. To me, it's not worth saving 18 bucks. Like, and this one has Wi-Fi. Oh, this is renewed, though. How much is the brand new ones? I don't want to look at the renewed. Here's is this renewed too? God dang it. I think this might be the cheapest. This one is, so the cheapest one is this MSI one, but also has USB-C. Only in the front though. No USB-C in the back. But in terms of USB, total USB slots, they're both 8 and 8, yeah. So, I don't know. I thought it would be fun to just check out the cheapest board. I'm sure these perform fine for like putting a 74 or 7500F in them. But $18 difference, and you gotta wait like, you know, AliExpress shipping time frames compared to Amazon. Quite literally, like most of it has Prime. Especially, I'm okay with the used ones. It's not that bad of a deal. The second one does have 2 slots. It's not 1. But it only has 1 times 16 slot. Oh, this one only has... Oh, yeah. This one has 2 smaller ones for expansion cards down here. It's harder to see, but... Even if it's not full length slots, these ones are still useful for whatever add-on cards you want. SSD, M.2 to PCIe adapters. These are still somewhat useful. How's that B580 going? I've heard some games have terrible results. Which game specifically? Because I haven't seen issues with the games that I actually play. Which recently it's only been like Cyberpunk and Assassin's Creed Shadows for the most part. Yeah, depending on how thick your card is, the graphics card will cover. Actually, oh yeah, would both of these ones get covered in this case? Yeah, but that Asus Prime Wi-Fi one for Amazon Renewed for 99 bucks, that one would be the play, even used over this brand new what is this one? Wait, is this a Jinyu one? Yeah, Jinyu. I'm surprised at how good value the 5060 Ti is in my country. The 8GB model is $70 more than the 4060 Ti. Shocking. What's the total price though? And you gotta... It also depends on the relative price compared to AMD's counterparts too. You're saying it's how good of value? Then the AMD cards must not be that inexpensive then. That's the thing that I have heard. Like, in the United States, AMD cards are crazy cheap. I guess not the latest generation, but in general, AMD cards are, like, a lot cheaper than NVIDIA. But I've heard from multiple people from other countries that say AMD cards are, in fact, more expensive than NVIDIA cards for the similar performing card. So, that's definitely something to take into account. In the RTX series of cards, which one do you prefer? I don't understand this question, Dang Doong. In the RTX series of cards, which ones do you prefer? Like, of all time? Or like, of right now? That's of right now available brand new? This is a loaded question. Dan Penglin... Oh my god, I'm gonna butcher your last name. Paglinawan. As someone who lives here in the Philippines, I agree. NVIDIA cards are more affordable than AMD cards. We got one person chiming in already right there. Yeah, here in the UK, AMD cards are a lot more overpriced right now. Lots of NVIDIA stuff at MSRP. That's so funny to hear about because I feel like if there were NVIDIA cards at MSRP right now, more available than they are, right? The 5070 is available, but I mean, if the 5080s and 5090s came and were available, I think people would have less of a problem with NVIDIA and they would hate them less and would complain about them way less. Just like availability at MSRP. That's all people are asking for. RTX 1080 was the best, I think. That was not an RTX card. How long do you think a 5800 XTD and a 3070 will be good for 1440p? For newer titles, I feel like the 3070 is already starting to... can start to fall behind at 1440p unless you dial down the settings. But, in general, though, a 5800 XTD and a 3070, I feel like that should be able to get you through the next... until the end of 2025. I think people who currently have 3060s should be able to game on them and enjoy it for what it is. 30 series cards, you're asking. In the used... Let's talk about the used market, because that's the only place you can buy them. In the used market, at least in my local area, the cards I look out for are 3060 Ti, 3070, 3080s. I feel like once you start getting into 3080 Ti territory, people, just because it's an 80 series Ti card, are dumb with the pricing and just overprice them all. And then same thing with 90 series. And then anything below a 3060... in the 60 and a 60 Ti, like, I was able to find a good deal, but that was last summer, I guess, on a... Actually, I bought multiple 3060 Ti's on pickup videos for the channel for like $225. Both times they were like $225, which I don't think is a bad price at all for them. But since then, the prices have gone up. But I'm fine with, honestly, 3060 Ti, even if it's the lower VRAM model. When you're talking about like a $200-ish card, I'm not expecting a crazy amount of VRAM. And then the 3070 as well. People hate on it, but I feel like the 3070 in a lot of games can perform solidly well. Yeah, it does depend on the games that you play, but in general, like I'm just thinking of the most popular games, even the newest games, like obviously not stupid ass Indiana Jones, but like you could get by with all the most recent titles, Monster Hunter Wilds, even though that game performs like crap on everything. Just turn the settings down. My buddy Casey played the like how many hours does he have on Monster Hunter Wilds? But he plays on a 3070. Just tame your expectations. $62 hours since it's come out on a 3070 and no complaints. Jason Whitmer says, I love the 3070 at 250. I think at 250, that's where the price, I think that's where they should be. I'd say that would be, they've gone up. Where are they on eBay right now? See, you know what's funny, Jason? So in my video, I picked it up for, what was it, 220, right? 220, 2080 Ti, 11 gigs of VRAM. I asked at the end of the video, which would you guys prefer, 2080 Ti versus the 3070? And pretty much most of the people said they want the 2080 Ti for the extra VRAM. And I think they would probably heavily disagree at a 3070 at 250. But I think right now, thinking about it more, this is actually considered a good deal because 3070s have shot up in price. We used to see them for $250 on eBay. And now we see parts only, parts only, parts only, pre-owned from China, parts only, parts only, parts only. Come on, what's the cheapest pre-owned? That's not a scam. Oh, this one. 3070. Parts only, parts only. Yeah, so the cheapest one is about $275 before tax. That's with the shipping included. No best offer. Is this one problem free though? Please read the full description. Needs repad. 2 working display ports, 1 HDMI. See? How did I know there was going to be something wrong with this card? I was like, whoa, there's actually one for $250 on eBay? And then I saw, and it's not from a scam seller. You know, this person has positive 100% feedback, 25 sales. That's a pretty normal, legit account. And of course, I mean, it still works, I guess. It needs a repad. So, like, not just thermal paste, not a re-thermal pasting, but also a whole repadding, which isn't the end of the world. Pads on AliExpress are pretty cheap. Wait, card works under light load but fails under stress due to thermal issues. How do you know that, though? What if you bought this, you changed the thermal pads, and it still fails? Yeah, 1 HDMI not working, needs repad, and fails. Dude, thermal issues. I don't know if I've ever seen a thermal pad disintegrate to the point where it causes, like, crashing. I know, like, it could cause high temperatures, but straight up works under light load, fails under stress test. This person is trying, you know what this person is trying to do? In my mind, this person is trying to offload this card for as much value as they can to the next sucker. Is there no refunds? Oh no, 30-day returns. Buyer pays return shipping. At least they're giving you a ability to refund. But still, I don't know if I would believe that thermal pad. You think thermal pads are why the HDMI port died too? Yeah, I don't know about that. I bet bro overclocked it and roasted the MOSFETs. Yeah. I love how they say it as like a definite thing. But in this case, the GPU fails under heavy load and will require a pad/repaste to restore full thermal performance. You might want to add words like to may be able to or might be able to. You can't say it like it's a sure thing like this because, yeah, I would not buy that. Okay, so that's the cheapest one. Parts only. Here's a pre-owned one from Canada, from Voltage Computers. So it's $270 plus. Oh, shipping is pretty cheap. Less than $10 shipping. Anything wrong with this card? Good shape. No signs of usage. Temperature max out. Okay, so this one's okay. So the more realistic going price is like closer to $280 on eBay right now. Exactly. That's what I was saying. I think it's someone who's trying to pawn it off on the next sucker who buys it and gets stuck with it, even though there's a return. Well, no, there's a return policy on this card, but 30 days returns. I guess you can return for any reason if this is the case, right? Not only that it's probably, let me see. See details. Returns. Buyer pays, accepted within 30 days, money back. Why did that just happen? Money back, return, refer to eBay. You're covered by money back guarantee. If the, see, this is for the refund. If, let me remove this. Look at this right here. So the refund, the return and refund, money back. Refer to eBay return policy for more details. You are covered if you receive an item that is not described in the listing. But does that include if I fix it with the thermal pads and the temperatures are not indeed fixed? That I'm not sure of, because I swear at eBay there's way the like it's almost like legalese type stuff. You have to read it very carefully, and they don't make it super clear. Once you open it to repad, he'll refuse a refund until eBay you tampered with it. Genius on his part. Yeah. Yeah. I could see that happening. Man, look at these cards. 3060 Ti for $300. In what world? In the world we live in right now. Oh my god. It's almost 3 hours. What? Last time I looked at the clock, it was like 7:05. Now it's 7:48. Okay. I gotta eat dinner. I think Melissa's probably napping, but I gotta make dinner. So, we gotta end in the next 5 minutes. Somehow I lost track of time. Anytime I see read or as is or not tested, just move on. Yeah. Don't bother with it. But then people are going to say, but I bought something and I was able to repair it. So I got a 3080 for $10 because I got lucky and repaired it, as if that is like how you should judge these types of deals. What's for dinner? I put out one of those meat logs from Costco, ground beef meat logs. And it's just going to be pasta. Pasta sauce from a jar. I don't know what noodles I'm going to make yet. But, and then ground beef. These are the same people who buy scams because you never know. Don't waste your time, energy, or money. Yeah. How do you stay in shape? I'm not in shape. I'm just a naturally lean, skinny person. I am not in shape right now. I am very out of shape at the moment. And my foot being the limiting factor. That's not the only limiting factor. I'm also lazy, but I actually just tried to jog today to see. My friends wanted to play pickleball, so I play tennis like pretty much throughout my entire life. I don't play pickleball. Pickleball to me is like, how do I put this? This is just my opinion. If you're a pickleballer, don't get mad at my opinion, but pickleball is a friggin' lame sport. And that's coming from a person who plays tennis, which isn't that much more of a cool or popular sport, right? But so I was like, you know what? I'll play just to hang out with them, but I'm not interested in the pickleball itself. I will go and do things with my friends, even though I'm not interested, because it's a chance to hang out. So then I was kind of shuffling back and forth and stuff, seeing if like, all right, if I was playing pickleball, if I had to like side shuffle and do stuff like that, like doing that right there, that hurt. Which is not a good sign because my foot we're coming up on a year of my foot having issues, and it's never gonna heal back to how it was. So I don't know. I don't think I can sprint. If my foot stays like this, I might not be able to sprint for the rest of my life. Which, as someone who's only in his mid-30s, that's kind of depressing. To not be able to like run at a good pace. I think I can. Let me try to jog and let me see if I can jog. Like, oh yeah, that's not happening. I'm not gonna be able to jog for like. I probably couldn't even jog a quarter mile, based on that pain level right there. So yeah, I definitely need to go see a doc, but I just haven't had time to, and I don't know if I will have time to anytime soon. To see if they can fix it. Is this what it's like to just have like chronic X pain for the rest of your life and not be able to do stuff and be active? WTF is pickleball. Sounds like a college drinking. Now, pickleball has been a thing for a long time. It is like mini tennis with these wooden paddles and wiffle balls. Yeah, so a lot of people play on tennis courts as well because you could fit 2 pickleball courts on 1 tennis court. Or I guess they make them out of plastic, but when I played pickleball many years ago, it was with like wooden it's like between ping pong and tennis. And you play with these wiffle balls on these courts, and it's a smaller court, so you're not running as much, but you're still kind of sprinting and running to the ball and stuff. I don't know, man. Like, I've just, as a tennis player, pickleball is not my jam. Have you tried a foot chiropractor? One set a rib back in place for me? Honestly, okay, oh man, we're supposed to end this stream, and now we're talking about chiropractors. You guys know, like, the general perception of chiropractors, right? Well, there's 2. There's people who absolutely believe in chiropractor, love getting adjusted, having their neck cracked. And then there's the people who are like, chiropractors are crocs. They're not real medical professionals. They do more damage, and some people have become paralyzed from the adjustments that chiropractors have done, right? But that is for, like, neck and back chiropractors. I don't know, honestly. I don't know enough about it to like fall on one side of the aisle or the other. I just know that anytime I see anything about chiropractors, it is kind of polarizing. So for a foot chiropractor though, or the equivalent of, I think I would be more okay with it because it's not my freaking neck or back that is being adjusted. Like, if a chiropractor is trying to tweak my foot and like does a little thing, an adjustment, and something goes wrong, okay, it's my foot, it already had pain anyways. It's not like it's gonna paralyze my body or screw me up, right? So I would be more open to foot chiropractor, but I'm just curious what people's thoughts on it are in general. Yeah, yes, opinions on chiropractors are just like USA politics. As you have your picture of baby Trump in your profile picture. Part of getting older. Wait till 40. There are plenty of active 40 years old and older people. I don't want to be one that has a chronic injury that just makes it so that the most I can do is just walk. I mean, don't get me wrong, being mobile is like huge, right? Compared to people who are just either bedridden or chair-ridden or are in wheelchairs or crutches the rest of their life or whatever. But being able to walk when you used to be able to like run, sprint, and do all these other things not too long ago, that sucks. So you're sour on pickleball? No. You guys know what pickleballing is. There's no way you just missed the whole pickleball craze that came as a result of the pandemic. Pickleball is only as popular as it is now because the pandemic happened. If it wasn't, it would still be a dead sport like it was for the last X amount of years. Before you end, Danny, Jason might be doing a Trump impression section as Monday. Okay. So, you guys know Jason Whitmer, friend of the channel, Texas Land Crew leader. His cat had an emergency surgery recently that put him in crazy, like the hospital bill, the vet emergency hospital bill, put him in some crazy debt. And he's going to do a live stream on Monday, this coming Monday, so in like, 5 days? From Wednesday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days from now, where he's going to be doing a bunch of stuff to try to raise money to pay back freaking $8,000 in vet medical fees, right? To save his cat. So, I would appreciate it if you guys check out his stream. First of all, you guys should be subscribed to his channel already, based on the stuff that we've already done together on the channel. But he is doing a live stream to help raise money to offset the crazy cost, which is almost as much as like humans have to pay for certain stuff. Oh man, that just makes me so mad that I get it was like the vet emergency room and stuff like that, but how much did it really cost them to save this cat's life? You know what I'm saying? 8,000 just sounds ridiculous, but anyways, he's trying to raise money to offset that because it was an unforeseen cost. So definitely check out his stream on Monday and support in any way that you can. I think that's going to wrap it up for the stream. Oh, and I do have to do an outro because I am obligated to Obsbot to also thanks for sponsoring this stream. These streams wouldn't have this video quality and great focusing if I didn't do that. So thanks Obsbot for sponsoring the latest video as well as this stream. I appreciate it, and I appreciate your hardware that helps me be able to do these every single week. So yeah, everyone though, in terms of upcoming content, my next video should be my personal build video, which is sitting right here behind the monitor. I just need to finish it up. So I'm trying to get that done by this weekend. So be on the lookout for that. But other than that though, see you guys in any of the YouTube shorts or any other content or on the Discord server. Take it easy. Have a good rest of your week and weekend coming up. Bye bye y'all.